All right, beautiful morning to you. Glad to have you join us on your highly conversational show Frontline, where we take our time to clarify issues of public interest across the socio-economic and political spectrum. Well, every edition of Frontline is dedicated to unpacking the dynamics of power, the intricacies of policies, and how government decisions at the federal, state, and local levels directly impact your life, your livelihood, and also your community. Well, Frontline is not just about local politics or Nigeria politics alone. Global affairs is also our business. And we do this by simplifying the complex development, interrogate leadership choices, and also demand accountability. Because from the look of things right now, President Donald Trump yesterday ordered the United States to withdraw from 66 international organizations. And this, is said, marks one of the most sweeping rollback of United States participation in multilateral institutions in modern history, as the administration moves aggressively to realign foreign engagements with what he called core American interest. In fact, when you look at the fact sheet released by the White House yesterday, Trump signed a presidential memorandum directing the withdrawal from organizations that, in the administration words, no longer serve America interest. The directive orders all executive departments and agencies to cease participating in and also in the funding of 35 non-UN organizations and also 31 United Nations entities as well. And you look at that and you say, is it about protecting the American interest at the detriment of who? The China of this world? Russia? Nigeria? We need someone definitely to call the United States president to order. The world need one. We keep our fingers crossed on that still. Well, on the show this morning, we have the privilege of having Dr. Tunde Lemo, a renowned Nigerian banker and a former deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. He is joining us virtually on the show this morning for an in-depth discussion on Nigeria's economic outlook for 2026 and the current political landscape. We will also fail to do, a partial review of 2025 while looking forward, in this new year, 2026. You can always be a part of the conversation on 0906 201 1025, 0904 1025 are the numbers to be a part of the conversation. When you dial the studio lines, endeavor to turn down the volume on your radio set. That's extremely important for us. Let's take a quick break now. When we return, we serve you trending socio-economic and political stories making around the country. Good morning again.
Thank God, finally, network don't gree pick up. Finally, care. Wait till they solve my brother. Don't they boss your line like say tomorrow no day, no response. My brother make you no vex so. Now network from my area don't close scatter. Some area boys come vandalize the telecom mast. Wait they here. Them try for my area too, but our people no gree. Now so we take phone vigilante. Now they don't they got that mast like say now where. That one a smart move. I go tell my neighbor make it table this matter for our CDA meeting. Now so it's supposed to be. Once them break mast or cut fiber cable, everywhere go just jam like say na traffic for road. School go dull, hospital go slow, even bank na the whole economy na dey connect slap. Vandalizing telecom infrastructure dey affect everybody. If your eye jam anything wey no pure, make you dial 622 from any network or send mail go protect@ncc.gov.ng. This message now from mobile network operators and tower companies with full backing plus support from the Nigerian Communications Commission.
Unlock uninterrupted freedom to work, play, and connect. At iWorld Networks, we deliver super fast, unlimited internet that is 6 times faster than the competition. Whether you are working from home, running a business, or streaming your favorite shows, we have got you covered with reliable internet and 24/7 customer support. Ready to experience seamless connectivity? Join the iWorld Networks family today. Get started. Call Titilade at +234 813 152 9077 or visit iwn.nj. iWorld Networks, connecting possibilities.
All right, beautiful morning again to you. Glad to have you join us on your highly conversational show, Frontline, where we take our time to clarify issues of public interest across the socio-economic and political spectrum. Let's quickly run through trending socio-economic and political stories making around. The Deputy Senate President, Jubrin Barau, has warned that politicization and weaponization of legislative oversight undermine public trust and weaken democratic institutions. Barau gave the warning yesterday while delivering a lecture at a convocation ceremony. He explained that legislative oversight was a core constitutional responsibility aimed at promoting transparency, accountability, and good governance, but one that it must not be turned into a tool for political vendetta. He further said the democratic consolidation went beyond periodic elections and requires strong institutions required for constitutional boundaries and constructive engagement amongst the arms of government. He stressed that the separation of power under the 1999 Constitution did not imply hostility between the executive and legislature, but a structured, interactive, and mutual respect. Well, President of Dangote Industries Limited, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, report having that he has withdrawn a formal petition is submitted to the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) against the former Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmad. The business mogul withdrew the petition from the anti-graft agency through his lawyer Ogu Onoja, a senior advocate of Nigeria. It was learned that the petition was withdrawn after another agency of government took over the matter. Recall Dangote in December asked the anti-graft agency to prosecute Ahmed for allegedly using the instrumentality of his office to embezzle and divert public funds for self-gains and pursuit of private interests to the detriment of the Nigerian people. He maintained that he had substantial facts to back up his claims against Ahmed. Well, the spokesperson of the ICPC, John Ode, confirmed the development last night. However, in another statement issued afterwards, Ode said despite the withdrawal, the agency would continue to investigate the matter in line with the statutory mandate. He also stressed that the continual investigation was in the interest of transparency, accountability, and the fight against corruption for the benefit of Nigeria. Well, I'm wondering how that will happen, because before now, there was a need for Aliko Dangote to adopt the petition. Now that it has been withdrawn, let's wait and see. Okay, let's also inform you that Labour Party vice presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Senator Dati Baba Ahmed, has formally declared his interest to contest the presidency in 2027. Baba Ahmed, who was running mate to former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, made the declaration at a rally held at the party national secretariat in Abuja. Addressing party members and supporters, Baba Ahmed said his aspiration was neither reactionary not dependent on Obi's political decisions, stressing that his presidential ambition predates the 2023 election. However, Baba Ahmed noted that while he had made his intention known, he would adhere strictly to the party electoral guidelines. Well, Baba Ahmed, former vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party, has cast doubt on Peter Obi's chances of clinching the presidential ticket of the African Democratic Congress (ADC), citing entrenched interest and unresolved ambitions within the emerging coalition. Well, in a television interview, Dati explained why he chose to remain in LP despite Obi's exit, insisting that Obi never invited him to join the ADC, saying the former Anambra State governor is free to return to the Labour Party if denied the ADC ticket. Well, a federal high court in Abuja has issued an order for the temporary forfeiture of 57 properties suspected to be proceeds of unlawful activities associated with the immediate past Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami. Justice Emeka Nwite issued the order yesterday. Well, two foremost Labour leaders, Adams Oshomole and Joe Ajero, differ sharply on the issue of the new tax law implementation. Ajero, president of the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC), said the laws which took effect from January 1 proposed the taxation of minimum wage earners. However, Senator Oshomole, a former NLC president, insisted that minimum wage earners are exempt from taxation. Okay, that's about it on trending socioeconomic and political stories making around the country. Let's take a quick break. When we return, we head straight to the conversation. Good morning again.
Finally.
Finally what?
I've been trying to reach your phone for days.
Oh, so sorry. Telecommunication services have been very poor in my area lately. Some hoodlums vandalized the telecoms masts around here.
They tried it in my area, but guess what? Our people now protect the mast as if our lives depend on it.
Wise move. I must tell my husband to raise the issue at our community meeting so that we too can protect all our telecom masts.
Exactly. You see, when telecom masts and fiber cables are destroyed, every area of our life, from education to healthcare to banking operations and the entire economy, is affected. Vandalizing telecommunications infrastructure harms everyone. Dial 622 from any network or send an email to protect@ncc.gov.ng to report suspected cases of vandalism. This message is brought to you by mobile network operators and towercos in collaboration with the Nigerian Communications Commission.
Listen. Lead. Relax. This is Eagle 102.5 FM.
Okay, good morning again to you. Glad to have you join us on your highly conversational show, Frontline. This is where we take our time to clarify issues of public interest across the socioeconomic and political spectrum. Well, our guest this morning is a renowned Nigerian banker and a former deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Dr. Tunde Lemo. He is joining us on Frontline this morning for an in-depth discussion on Nigeria's economic outlook for 2026 and the current political landscape as well. He is joining us virtually on the show this morning. Dr. Tunde Lemo, good morning to you. Glad to have you join us here.
Good morning. Good to be here. Thank you.
Glad to have you join us here. Okay, let's begin the conversation from these aspects, drawing from your experience as a former deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, looking at the Nigerian economy from the physical aspect too as well, looking at the just concluded year 20 2025 before we even look at, 2026. How would you describe the Nigeria economy now?
Well, we thank God because we are beginning to see light at the end of the tunnel. The economy is resilient. That's one thing I will say. And looking at 2025, we have mixed outcomes. You may say prices are still high, but I can tell you that inflation is trending downwards, as we have seen that the numbers have consistently been dropping, headline inflation and food inflation. We have also seen relative stability on the exchange rate front. And of course, for the first time in December, we didn't need to queue up for fuel. So you can see that the reform that Mr. President started with on his day of inauguration, we are already reaping the benefits. Yes, subsidy has been taken away. There were price spikes when that happened, but that has brought in sufficient product for us. So much so now that we don't have to be running skelter looking for fuel. And then, of course, prices are trending downwards. Those who bought rice in December will tell you that there was a 20% discount from what they got in the preceding year. So I think the good days are here, the good times are here, and I believe that better days are ahead of us.
Well, I do understand your point, saying, well, things are things are a little bit high, but stability is what Nigerians is currently experiencing now. But what key economic risk should Nigeria urgently address, to avoid prolonged hardship for citizens, considering the fact that, yes, 20%, considering where it's coming from, is still high?
I can assure you that we should all continue to work hard and ensure that the fiscal authorities do not allow inflation to fester much more than this. Central Bank is doing its best through monetary policy action to ensure that inflation goes down. And when that continues to happen, of course, you know that then means that the purchasing power of the people will be enhanced. And there is also this other one that, even though the public does not understand, the new tax reform actually is a relief to very, very poor people.
Relief?
Yes, and I will explain it. Those traders whose annual turnover is below 100 million will no longer pay taxes. And then those who receive salaries around minimum wage, maybe 70,000 a month, will pay little or nothing. And so that's some relief for them. Yes, it is true that those who earn so much will pay much more. And that's how it is in other climes. That's a progressive taxation. So I think the outlook is good. And with consistent approach, I think we will begin to see that employment, there will be more people employed as capacity utilization is improving. The purchasing manager index is inching up. And once that happens, of course, there's reduced unemployment. And then, of course, I would want government to then look more in the area of poverty reduction. And poverty reduction by ensuring that we pay particular attention to the very, very poor, those below the poverty line. There's nothing wrong with conditional cash transfer, which goes directly to them so as to ameliorate their suffering. And then, of course, the loan disbursement to indigent students should be expedited so that the children of the poor will not necessarily have to withdraw from school, but have access to government loan to tide them over their education. And then they can pay when they gain employment in the future.
That's you touching on, some of the things government should be considering. But they will also say in their fund, they already have, a thing of such. But let's talk about the CBN itself and the interest rates. The monetary policy has continued to maintain, its gradual decline. Right now, it's still at 27% as well. Talking about the interest rates, considering the fact that the inflation rate itself has continued to decline. Right now is 14.5%, below the 15% target of the federal government. But yet, the CBN continue to maintain the hike of interest rates. Should there not be a form of reduction in the interest rates, considering the fact that getting such loans from banks at that rate seems to be on the high side? Even president of petroleum refinery Aliko Dangote alluded to that position as well, saying 27% seems to be on the high side. At what point do you think the CBN or the monetary committee now will be bringing down the interest rates?
You say the central bank will adjust, or I would say the monetary policy committee of the central bank, which meets once in 2 months, will definitely at the appropriate time adjust the monetary policy rate called MPR. You say you cannot just amend policy or react to just a reduction in interest rates in a particular month. You have to watch it and ensure that the trend is continuous. And I think with the continuous trend, I expect that by late January, when they meet again, we are likely to see them beginning to bring down the MPR, the monetary policy rates. It is important for them. Don't also forget that they are not only watching the interest rates, they are not. They are also watching the rates, the foreign exchange rates. The objective of central bank is multifaceted. We've been lucky to have a fairly stable exchange rate, and if we don't have interest rates that is consistent with stable exchange rates, then that objective may not be met. So central bank knows what it's doing, and at the appropriate time, hopefully by end of January, we should begin to see them bring down the MPR rates in line with the inflation rate that is trending downwards. Thank you.
Okay, now let's talk about the tax law now, the newly implemented tax law. Well, the federal government introduced these new tax measures, as part of its revenue drive. And some have said, is the timing right? Is it appropriate given the current economic realities? And considering the fact that at some point we had issues of the gazetted and the passed tax law by the National Assembly, as a key stakeholder in this industry, do you actually believe there are two versions of it? Have you seen any?
Well, we have listened to the legislators who have clarified that there are no two versions. And I think we should not chase shadows and concentrate on the substance of the case. I'm sure if indeed for technical reasons there are two versions, they know how to harmonize. And this is an activity that shouldn't take weeks for them to do when they return from their vacation. But let's look at the issue itself, the new tax rates. Some people are saying this is not the right time. When it will be the right time to pay tax? It is only in Nigeria people don't want to pay tax. And yet they want facilities, they want resources, they want government to be responsible, they want security of life and property, they want infrastructure to be fixed, they want healthcare to be dealt with, and so on and so forth. And yet they don't want to pay tax. Where do they expect funding to come from? And of course, if government continues to borrow to execute all of this, we will say that they are borrowing too much. So where are they expected to do so?
Dr. Tunde Lemo, tax itself is a mutual agreement.
No, let me land.
Okay.
If again, they do what we call borrowing from central bank, which is the ways and means advances, that has effect on inflation. So you can see, let's go to other climes where the macro economies are fairly stable. Government largely spends tax money, and we should be responsible as citizens to pay our taxes. And so, and this tax policy is progressive in nature, in the sense that it protects the poor, and then of course encourages the rich not to dodge tax, but to pay what they are supposed to pay. Tax is always a percentage of income. Nobody will demand from you what you don't have. If you do not have income, you are not supposed to pay tax. But if you have income, why should you not pay tax? And I believe we should not be sentimental at all. This is the way to go. If other countries are progressing because their citizens are responsible to pay tax, why should we be different?
Yeah, I do love your perspective, and apologies for trying to button. What I wanted to, what I wanted was for you to also, treat this other one, the issue of tax itself being a mutual contract between the government and the people. Oftentimes, you recall the issue of Dangote petition with NMDPRA, former executive officer, that's Farouk Ahmed, where he talked about the lifestyle and being a public servant, what is he supposed to be earning, and all, saying he's worried about what his tax is being used for and all. Now, the people on one hand are of the opinion that, okay, I'm paying this tax, what is it being used for? Is the government accountable for what the tax money is being used for? Your hard-earned money being taken from you, under tax and all. Then what's the accountability? What's the transparency in all of that? Will it not just be looted by another government officials who claims to be in position and all? Your say to this.
Let us not kid ourselves. There are two issues you have put on the table, and we will resolve them one after the other. My public finance lecturer over 40 years ago told me in school that he defined tax as a non-penal and yet compulsory transfer of resources from the private sector to the public sector, so that government will be able to carry out activities that are expected of them. Now let's differentiate between the social contract and then what we expected to do as citizens. As responsible citizens, we are supposed to pay our tax. But I understand what you are also saying, that government should be responsible to ensure transparency and openness. It is when you pay your tax first, one comes before the other. It's like chicken and egg. If you pay your tax and you know that you stand on moral high ground, then you can call them to be accountable. The social contract is there between the government and the people. Yes, I collect the tax, but I must use it judiciously, which is why, of course, you must call to question government's profligate spending. You must come to question anything that they do that is against the law. You must call to question accountability. You must have them account. You must hold them. You must hold them accountable. I'm not against holding anybody accountable. I often said it, that in this country, leadership bar is made so low, and we're not holding our leaders accountable enough. And then oftentimes we look up. Let's even look at local government. How many of us have held our local government chairmen accountable? How many of us have held our state operatives accountable? That we must do. That we should continue to do. But it shouldn't be an excuse for us not to pay tax. It should not be an excuse for us not to want to pay tax.
I do understand your point. Well, there was an argument yesterday. Not an argument. It was an intellectual discussion, and two former NLC presidents differ on the issue of minimum wage earners are to pay tax. The former and now Senator Adams Oshomole said no, the minimum wage earners are exempt from tax. I want some clarity on this, because what we have is that, if you are earning less than 800,000 or 800,000, you will not be paying tax. You are exempt from it. Now, if you are to calculate 70,000 naira minimum wage, that will give us about 840,000 naira thereabouts. Does it mean that those on 70,000 naira minimum wage will be paying tax? Your say to that.
Now, you see, the tax laws are calibrated in such a way that once you capture all the income, you also have what we call reliefs. There's a relief to take care of your rent. There's a portion of it you pay for pension that is deducted from your salary. When you have taken all of this away, what is left is less than 800,000. And I can tell you, minimum wage earners will not pay tax based on this new tax law.
But why do you think there is so much, rejection towards this new tax law? If you are of the opinion that, oh, this favors the poor.
Well, you see, the reasons are obvious. The elites are the most vocal. The real poor that we are talking about don't have access to this kind of conversation that we're talking about, because intellectually they may not be able to flow the way you and I are flowing. So what the elites do is actually to go and instigate the poor to do their bidding. And I keep telling those ones that, look, understand this matter. Don't cry louder than the bereaved. You are exempt from tax and you are protected. Why should you then be the mouthpiece for those who have been dodging taxes, for not wanting to pay taxes? It is the elites that are using them to rake up all these issues. I'm sure when they sit down and they understand the fact that, just imagine the woman that is selling pepper by the roadside, will her turnover be up to 100 million in a year? Once he can demonstrate that, even as a trader, he's exempt from paying tax. Why should that one now be complaining? But the elites that are affected, that are impacted, are the ones using those ones so that it can look as if the government does not consider the poor. The new tax actually protects the poor more than the rich.
More than the rich. Okay. If you are just joining up with if you are just joining us this morning, we are having a conversation with Dr. Tunde Lemo. He is a Nigerian banker and a former deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Let's talk about the recapitalization in the financial industry. Your say to this particular one.
Thank you very much. Quite fortuitously, some 20 years ago, I was involved in the recapitalization exercise of 2004, 2005, 2006.
No, it seems, are you on hands-free now, sir?
Sorry?
Are you on hands-free? I could not hear you right, sir.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Much better now, yes.
Okay. I said that it is quite fortuitous that about 20 years ago, I was actually at the center of a recapitalization exercise which Governor Soludo announced in 2004 for implementation in January 2005 or 2006. And of course, the question therefore is, why another recapitalization? You would agree with me that this is necessary because of the size of our economy. And if we are to do a $1 trillion economy in the next few years, we need banks that have robust capital. And in relative terms, it is just I would say that it's a research of a sort. Because 20 years ago, when we were prescribing minimum of 25 billion, the equivalent of that in today's value of money is about the same rates that they are fixing. So it is, for me, an extremely necessary exercise just to ensure that the banks continue to play their key role as agents of development in this economy.
As agents of development. Do you see that happening now with some of the fintech taking over some of the bank's functions?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's you see, fintech has to come because technology basically is driving payment system globally. And in our own days, I exited CBN 12 years ago, and we had what we call payment system, a new payment system reform, which of course ensured that the payment system became more efficient and it was technology led. You remember cashless Nigeria, cashless Lagos. And so where that has led us now is that Nigerian payment system is as efficient as any other payment system anywhere in the world. It's comparable to the payment system globally. And fintech has come also to innovate and to disrupt in a manner that efficiency has brought into payment system. So much so that today I can pay somebody in Lagos I can pay somebody in Kara and Amuda, and immediately he gets payment. In those days, he has to wait 20 days for the check to clear. And so the payments, the fintechs have come to enhance payment system, and they are integral part of the entire payment system value chain. Banks are embracing them because banks also are investing heavily in fintech.
Okay, you are a man who wear many hats, and at some point in time, you were the chairman of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, that's FEMA. How would you assess or describe the state of federal government road nationwide? And what do you think makes an agency like FEMA difficult? What makes it difficult for them to function in road maintenance and little repairs as well? Your say to this.
When you go through the act establishing FEMA, it was fashioned around road maintenance agency in the US. FEMA is expected actually to generate income not from public purse or 100%, but also through some other activities. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, FEMA has only been able to generate funding from budget allocation. Many of the federal roads are supposed to be tolled, so that the tolling fee is supposed to be used to maintain those facilities. That is not happening in most cases today. How many of our federal roads are tolled? Many of the heavy equipment. Now, when you see a truck, 90 metric ton truck or 100 metric ton big truck on our federal road, the asphalted roads are not expected to carry such heavy load, and yet they are doing so. It is the reason some 40 years ago we had what we call way bridges, at the end or beginning of most of the federal roads. But the way bridges are no longer in operation. It is to discourage heavy equipment running on our asphalted road. Asphalt, when you subject it to intense heat, becomes soft. And when you compress it with too heavy load material, it makes the road to wear out faster. And so, the FEMA is confronted by dearth of revenue, as well as the fact that the roads that they do repair or that is constructed goes bad pretty fast because we don't have effective rail system in Nigeria. In most cases, those heavy liftings are done by rail. It is not unlike in Nigeria where most of our heavy things are hauled on the road. So, to have a more effective FEMA, we need to get them to earn revenue from other sources, from sources other than federal government purse, so that they can become more effective. They are trying their best. I was there for 4 years and I knew how tough it was to carry out, assignments that are washouts here and there. And before you know it, the global warming has not helped matters at all. With the global warming, overnight you can have torrential rainfall and 2 bridges are gone. And then you have to go there and remediate, and so on and so forth. The environmental factors have exacerbated all the activities. Income level is not where it should be. And then we are not using the road as we should because we don't have effective network of rail line that will help to haul those heavy duty things that go on our roads.
Okay, which one comes first now? Should they be a good road, then toll? Or toll on a bad road?
No, you have to have a good road and toll. We've done a good road in Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Why haven't we tolled it? And the rate at which they are getting bad is high. And then simultaneously, we already have rail line between Lagos and Ibadan. Why can't we have trains that are luggage thing only? Trains that carry heavy loads, so that we have dry ports somewhere in Oyo State. And all those heavy things that I see on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, they go by that rail. Otherwise, before 10 years, those roads will be bad again. I'm already seeing some failing points just because heavy-duty vehicles are on that road. So we should toll, and then we should maintain better, and we should ensure that heavy-duty things are hauled by rail. That is the only reason we can have a much more effective road network in Nigeria.
Well, how do you think that will portray this administration to say, oh, subsidy removal, unification of the exchange rate, oh, taxation as well? Then we talk about tolling.
Where you see, we need to understand how economies run, how things are done. For me, I can justify tolling, and I will explain to you. When Lagos Ibadan Express Road was bad, and it would take you 3-4 hours from Lagos to get to Ibadan. Now you were spending twice the quantity of petrol, man hour on the road before you get to the other end. Now you are saving so much of that. You are saving wear and tear. You are saving the life of the vehicle and so on and so on. And a token is we are just asking you to pay back a token of that. By the time the common man understands the arithmetic of the life journey of this lifestyle thing, they will understand that it is actually in their best interest to pay toll so that road will be maintained regularly. Otherwise, we'll go back to square one if the road gets bad, and then it will take you twice the time. So 40,000 fuel becomes 60,000. Why not just pay 2,000 each time you travel, so that you are not spending 60,000 fuel in another 3-4 years when the road goes bad. It is in our self-interest to maintain this, and we're asking for an option that is cheapest. The cheapest option for us is to continue to maintain that road through tolling. If they do that in other countries and the life is better for them, why not in Nigeria?
Maintaining the road goes beyond just laying asphalt and all, street lights, ambulance services, all of that needs to be on the road as well. Even security patrol.
The buzzword maintenance includes everything you have mentioned. In fact, maintenance will, you see, the best way to do the maintenance is actually to concession that road to the private sector and say, okay, you are collecting toll. Part of what you need for that toll is to maintain the road. It's also to set up maybe every 10 kilometers ambulance activities, help desk, including even first aid equipment, and so on and so forth. All of that goes into the major buzzword that I call maintenance. It's a total package of everything you need to ensure that security of life and property when people go in there.
Okay, and why do you think the administration of Olusegun Obasanjo, former president of Nigeria, remove the tolling, especially on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway?
Well, we have to find out. But my guess is that at that time, technology did not permit them to make electronic collection. And money is fungible. If you collect cash, it gets diverted. How many of them will you police? So if 10,000 vehicles are on that road and they collect 1,000 every day, that is 10 million per day. How is it accounted for? And so on and so forth. But today with technology, you can corner every kobo. You can even make it cashless. All you need to do is go and buy tickets and go and put a sensor. Once the sensor is done, you run under that sensor. It takes that money off the ticket that you have bought. So you can collect money electronically now with zero diversion. But it wasn't available then. And it became an exercise in futility. Why collect money that 80% of it is stolen? But today, things have changed and we should go back to tolling.
Well, you're a man with a lot of experience and all. Some have said maybe it's time for you to also get into the political arena. Are you nursing that ambition?
Well, it's not about nursing ambition. I think that in other climes, people who have traversed public-private sector like myself should actually make use of their experience for public good. And so I'm in consultation with other stakeholders on what tomorrow will be. And it is important that I say that there is that possibility that I might be picking up offers or opportunities that are available in the future so that I can continue to contribute my quota for the development of my state in particular and the nation in general.
Consultations ongoing. Which of the political parties do you currently belong to?
I am a member of APC.
Are you in talks with the governor? Is it part of those you are consulting with?
Well, I don't think I need to reveal that now. If
It
I
is
say that I am
2026,
consulting with
less
all
than.
stakeholders, if I say I'm consulting with all stakeholders, of course you can guess who the stakeholders are, and anybody you guess the stakeholder is possibly one of the people I'm consulting with. So let us not get personal here. So long as I've made it clear that I am in consultation with most stakeholders, if not all, I think I should have said enough to prompt you that yes, there is that possibility that I could be talking to the governor or many other people apart from the governor.
Okay, let's talk about some of the things you have seen and you think, oh, can be improved upon in the states.
Well, you see, I don't want to be misunderstood. One thing I know is that by next month, this state will be 50 years old. And looking back, I cannot but thank God for all the leaders that we have gotten. Even the military, they did their best. I remember the governor's office used to be at Okelewo. It was Onabanjo that laid the foundation for Okemoson. And I still remember very well the day he was laying the foundation, that I was happy as an Ijebu man to do this because sometimes the Ijebus are castigated that they hate their Egbas, and Alake then Oba Lipede, you know, he was throwing jabs at him and it was very interesting. So all of them have tried their best between then and now. And individually, God has used them to do different things at different times. Some may be low on infrastructure, but high on economics, development, and so on and so forth. So I want to express my appreciation to each and every one of them. And because again, resources, in some cases there are a lot of resources, some other cases there may not be much. But Ogun State, our population is now around 7 million. And Lagos is in the underbelly of Ogun State. The explosion you see in number of population around Lagos, we are beginning to be impacted. So much Ogun State population is growing rapidly because we are part of greater Lagos metropolis, where you talk about migration of people, and it appears to be this corridor is the safest in Nigeria. So we should expect to see more of the upsurge in the number of people, and is the fastest growing area in terms of industrial development. So the challenges are more today. That's basically what I'm saying. So instead of me using my back mirror to talk about what they didn't do well, let me use my front mirror to talk more about what we have to do correctly so that we take advantage of the opportunities that we have with us. And by the next decade or two, Ogun State certainly should be one of the best states in Nigeria. We have what it takes, the natural resources, intellectual resource, and all that we need is just to harness that, and you need capacity. You need someone with experience to be able to push that through.
But there are talks about state creation. Doctor, are you with me?
I'm with you. I'm listening.
Yeah,
to
there
you.
are talks about state creation. And right now, there are talks about, oh, Tunde Lemo out of Ogun State and all. Do you believe in that dream?
I don't believe in state creation, even though looking back, Ogun State has not been well treated on state creation. Because I remember, if you go back to 1960, and you see the provinces that we had there, Ogun State is about the only province. Ogun State is about the state that has two provinces in a state. In other places, each province has become a state. In fact, in some cases, even a province has been split into two. If you go to Sokoto, for instance, we've seen Sokoto, we've seen Zamfara, we've seen Kebbi, all carved out of Sokoto. All of that is one province. But today, we see two provinces, Abeokuta province and Ijebu province, still as part of Ogun State. I really don't know why. But that is talking politics, talking economics. Why should we be balkanizing ourselves more and more into different states? I don't believe in that at all. It's a waste of resources. California state today is almost half the size of Nigeria, yet it remains only one state. Nigeria as an entity is not as big as Alaska, and it's only one state in US. And nobody is agitating for much. There are big states in US, there are small states. Everybody developing according to its ability. I think we should talk more about how to harness our resources, how to develop, and that doesn't come by just by breaking ourselves down into pieces and pieces. It blows up recurrent expenditure, and we have little or nothing left for development. All of us in Ogun State should agree together as one. We are one people. Let us work together and get ourselves an excellent state that will be envy of all. I want to tell you that if we rejig the way we share revenue in Nigeria, there will be a time in future when even states will come together to say, let us merge. I will even think that consolidation of states is what we should be talking about and not creation of states.
Well, do you think the creation is being fueled by ethnicity?
I think it's being fueled by selfishness, not ethnicity. What if you talk about ethnicity? After all, ethnically, Yorubas are one people. How many states do we have? And people will say, oh, because these ones don't see eye to eye. Today, if you say, okay, let's create Ijebu State and then the rest Ogun State, I tell you, by the time you create Ijebu State, the Remos will say that the Ijebus are more than Remos and they are oppressing them. Maybe tomorrow there will be the need for creation of Remos States. Where do we end it? If you go back to Ogun State, then Ogun will now say, the Yewas, the Egbas are oppressing us. Now, don't forget that even Ogun West that you talk about, we have so many people. You have the two best there. You have the Eguns. You have the Yewa people. You even have people, Yewa North. They are not necessarily Yewa people. And they will tell you that they are different, what name do you call them? So at the end of the day, where does it end? Even if you have Egba State today, Egbalake will say, I am Owu, this one will say, I am Okiono, and so on and so forth. It does not end. Let us forget about all these primordial issues and bind ourselves as one and then develop as one. We are one people. It is only in Nigeria that we balkanize ourselves. If you go to Sweden and you see a Nigerian, whether it's from Sokoto or from Calabar, you embrace him as a Nigerian.
Okay. Dr. Tunde Lemo is our guest on the show this morning. Let's allow citizens now to be part of the conversation. 0906 201 1025 0904 040 1025 are the numbers to be a part of the conversation. When you dial the studio lines, please turn down the volume on your radio set. Good morning. Yes, good morning. I'm about good morning.
On issue of tax, according to Adam Smith, said that the creation of nation's wealth is taxing the rich heavily while exempting the poor. It's okay. But our fear is that the more we are taxing the people, corruption is our problem here. We have people taking it away freely. The politicians. For instance, how do you since subsidy is gone, when governments are clamoring for they should remove subsidy, the people are not seeing anything. It's to the benefit of the governors and the rest. So in Nigeria, we have that problem here. We don't do this the way it ought to be done.
All right. Thank you so much, Omaba, for your contribution. Worried about, corruption after getting the so-called tax itself. He also referenced the issue of subsidy being removed as well, saying it only benefits some few, and now it's removed. Even the poor is suffering. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning to you. Who are we on the line? Who is on the line, please?
Yeah, you are with Evangelist Gospel of Oyemi from Ijebu.
Go on, please.
I want to appreciate your efforts on the show this morning as usual, and I appreciate our guest. I think people have been trying, but they need to actually do much better. Our guest actually speaks like an SEC politician, and we believe that they have been implementing quite a number of anti-people policies or
maybe with the pattern or the way they handle it. So my question is, how does the new tax law reform, how does it favor the poor? Are the poor not paying multiple taxes already? As you speak, before this reform, do you know that the poor have been paying taxes through different means? Through banking, through any transaction, any reasonable thing. If you go to a hospital, if you go to anywhere, or go to shopping mall, we are already paying tax. I have a bike, at a bike rider, or even if it's private, you will collect tickets and all those things.
All right, I've taken your point on that. I will allow Dr. Tunde Lemo respond to you. Talking about other form of taxes and all, we have the VAT, the consumption, and all of that. But let's pick this course first. I will allow Dr. Tunde Lemo respond to all of this at once.
Mr. Balogun, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you.
Yeah, thank you for enlightening the public. God will continue to strengthen you and your station in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Yeah, my question to our guest this morning, though he mentioned it, that I want him to clear it. You know, Nigeria are ready to pay the tax if the government is accountable. You know, the little one we pay, we are not seeing it. At the end of one government or the other, we see these politicians being indicted with huge amount of this taxpayer money. One person cornered it, and nothing is done. Especially this government in the power, we are seeing people indicted with huge amount of money, no persecutions. In fact, resign and go. Why are you encouraged? How can people be encouraged to pay tax?
Okay. All right. Oscar, I've taken your point. Due to time, I have to let you go quickly. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Yes, sir.
Thank you for giving us our illustrious son. I like the way the man really answer all your questions. But one thing I want to address is that you said the petroleum, we are no longer queue. It is not the effort of this present government. It was the Aliko Dangote that spent $20 billion. This government has failed concerning that queue. I must confess. And when you talk of tax, Nigerians are easygoing people, like somebody like you now. We are ready to pay tax. We are even paying tax. Because if this government decided to tax the rich will tax the poor. Look at the is now. It is Aliko Dangote is into oil, is into gas, is into Indomie. By the time you tax him heavily, he's coming back to tax the people. That is the reality. Our leaders have failed to fight corruption.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution. Dr. Tunde Lemo, I'm sure you were able to get the reactions of the caller. Let's have your reaction to all of this.
Thank you very much. Let me start from the last comment. Aliko Dangote's refinery was made a possibility because government reformed the downstream oil sector. If government didn't remove subsidy, there's no way Aliko Dangote would have opened that refinery. So we still thank the government. It is the reform that brought the refinery. And I want that man who made that comment to understand this. 3 years ago, there's no way refinery will function if the cost of producing fuel is 80 naira and you are telling him to sell at 120 naira. He will not sell. So it is the reform that brought Aliko Dangote refinery. 2, they said, okay, the poor man has been paying so many taxes, so many. Now, one of the benefits of the new tax is that they are all put together. It's going to deal with multiple taxes. Multiple taxes will no longer be allowed. Everything has been codified together, and that is part of the reform that is coming through these taxes. Now, there was a question, what about the subsidy that they were getting before? What did they use the money for? Nobody has been making savings. People make mistakes. They think because subsidy has been removed, what about the savings that we make? No. Before, each time government subsidizes, what they do is to borrow money to subsidize. They borrow money, they subsidize. Go and look at the balance sheet of NNPC. You will see what I'm talking about. It is the hemorrhage that has been stopped. So that, because if it didn't stop, we would have been bankrupt by now. We are lucky that we have Ashiwaju that came into the scene 2.5 years ago. Without that intervention, maybe Nigeria would have been up for sale. I understand what people are talking about when it comes to poverty and accountability. I agree with them that what are they using that money for? The public office holder must be held accountable. Every kobo that is earned be it through taxes or through other revenues. Every kobo must be accounted for. We must hold our elected officials accountable. I agree. But I'm just saying that it is not a good reason to say you will not pay tax. You will pay tax. We will put our mouth where our money is. So if we become effective taxpayers, we can then form ourselves into pressure group just to ensure there's accountability. That, of course, I am on the same page with you on that, because we must know what they do with our money. But all the comments are very, very fair comments, because you see, Nigerians have gone through a lot, and I think it is important for them to be explained to what is happening to the money that they are going to pay, or the money that government is earning, because it is a service to the people, and we have the people as our employers, and they are entitled to know what we have done with their money. Thank you.
Okay, just before I let you go, Sarah, let's talk about religious tax payments. Is that within the new tax law?
There is nothing like religious tax payments. There is nothing like that. Anybody who says that is
should
telling
religious
lies.
bodies be also be factored into the tax nets?
Religious bodies should not pay tax, and there is no need for them so to do, and it is not in the new tax law. Let me tell you what is confusing people. If a religious body sets up a bakery or a school or a business activity or a printing company, that printing activity is a business. That business that is printing, if it makes profit, must pay tax. That's other activity, but the religious activity as a religious activity, no. However, also it is important to clarify this. Everybody working in the religious activity, so long as they earn income, they must pay tax. If there are individuals who are there are clerks, there are managers of things and that, and they have regular income, just as any civil servant, any public servant, any salary earner. The salary earners in religious places must pay tax as individuals, but not the religious people. Religious churches, mosques are not supposed to pay tax, and they are not being asked to pay tax in the new tax law.
Dr. Tunde Lemo, I want to appreciate you for your time with us this morning. The phone lines has been buzzing. People want to talk to you. Let's see if you can give one or two the chance before we wrap it up this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Please, Mr. Lemo, we need the state now.
Oh, apologies to you about that. When you call, please tell us your name and location. Good morning.
Bluetooth mode. Hello, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning to you.
Yeah, AB speaking from Ekpe.
AB, go on quickly.
Yeah, I don't understand. We Nigeria, we don't want to pay tax. We don't say now the tax where we pay, now it will make Nigeria work. We have not started paying tax. You're asking for the dividend of tax. See, that's what you call a multiple stream of income. It comes from the government, doesn't only come from tax. They need to borrow more, because Nigeria has a lot of infrastructural deficit. In fact, we need a lot of money in Nigeria to fix a lot of the infrastructural deficit. Are you getting me? So Nigeria can borrow, can collect money for tax, can collect money for tools, just like your analyst said, can collect money for any means legal. You understand? So it's a good thing. Okay, just like the analyst said, the tax is not taxing the vulnerable poor. It's the rich people that are paying tax now. Formerly, the tax is not properly organized, but now it's organized. Please, Nigeria, we should try to, when we see.
Apologies to you. Due to time, I just have to quickly let you go. Dr. Tunde Lemo, let's wrap up with this particular one. You know, it sounds as if, we are demonizing being rich. Is being rich saying, is it a crime to be rich? To now say, we exempt the poor, but the rich, because they are rich, yes, they must pay, as high as even 25%.
25% is not very punitive. I have relations and friends who work abroad, and when they get to certain income level, they pay up to 40% of their income as tax. And that's how it is in other climes. You see, when you see good facilities, good infrastructure, America has this bomb, they have this, they have that, Those things cost money. Even the intervention America came to do here, if they tell you the amount of millions of dollars that they spent doing so, you will understand. So any reasonable modern economy that is very strong militarily and infrastructurally, it takes money so to do. And then of course, the rich are not being punished by asking them to pay tax. It's because when you sit here and you make money, you are making money because there is law and order. If there's no law and order, you will not make money. That law and order costs money, and you should participate in ensuring that law and order continues. And that is the whole logic and essence of paying tax. The rich must pay more than the poor because the rich needs law and order more than the poor. It is the rich that has businesses that they have here and there. Without law and order, they can't open those businesses, and so on and so forth. And taxes are expected to be progressive all over the world. Progressive means that the poor will pay relatively little or nothing, and the rich will pay more according to their ability.
Dr. Tunde Lemo, thank you so much for your time with us on Frontline this morning.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you so much for your time and insight. All right, there you have it. Today's edition of Frontline done and dusted with Dr. Tunde Lemo, a renowned Nigerian banker and a former deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. He joined us virtually on the show this morning. The phone lines are still buzzing. Well, I do truly appreciate every one of you, for your meaningful comments and your drive about a beautiful Nigeria. I am Olakunle Balogun. Special thanks to Bayo Ayonga, live with me in the studio. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. Bye-bye, and have a beautiful Thursday.
Rédíò tí gbogbo ayé fẹ́ láti máa gbọ́.